Good evening and welcome to the Academy Debate Show. Tonight we're going to break from the trivial subjects of past debates in favor of a subject of such epic proportions I will be shocked if we do not find ourselves returning to the subject again at some point. This argument is so intense, so important, so polarizing, so epic that it may even lead to strikes on this channel. The subject is so sensitive, our wonderful producers upped the pot to $30. That's right, tonight we're going rogue. Tonight we're going nuclear. Tonight, our competitors will settle once and for all, until the subject is brought up again later. Which is better, PC or console gaming? Joining us from the unwashed masses of keyboard warriors to argue the virtues of $1,000 keyboards in the Oregon Trail franchises, Michael Brazil, brother of Jason. And descending with grace and glory from the hallowed halls of handheld Halo heroes is Cassie the Ragdoll. Welcome to the debate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, to begin, each of you will have 5 minutes to present opening arguments of your case. Are you both ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cassie, you have been chosen to go first. You have 5 minutes. You may begin arguing your case now.
Okay. Many of us began on console, and there's many games that are not on PC yet. We grew up in a generation where in 1976, the first console prototype came out, which led the way to modern day consoles, such as Xbox 360, Xbox One. But it's the original consoles that most of us remember. The Nintendo 64, or for me, the Super Nintendo, which brought the love of gaming into my world. It is easier to teach children, and I do have children, how to game on a console. And you can also have multiple players in your living room with a console, which is awesome for family game night. And even people who didn't grow up with consoles seem to find it easier to play games on a console. And then also we have to have the price point. Consoles tend to be cheaper than their PC brethren. Most of the time you can get a pretty good console for $200 to $300. And if you get an older console, you tend to spend less money. They don't take up a lot of room, and now modern day consoles can do as much as a PC. If you think about it, we can watch Netflix and stream multiple different things onto our 4K TVs, which I do have. And there are so many different types of games that came out on consoles way before the PC, and many games that are designed with the console in mind over the PC. So now I will let my opponent speak.
All right. Well, Cassie, thank you for that 3-minute introduction. You actually you had 5, but you only needed 3.5 to get your points across. Well argued. At this point, Michael.
Yes. Hi.
Go ahead and tell us why everything she just said is wrong.
Okay. Well, while I agree with my esteemed opponent that console gaming is a great gateway for children, I believe that when you become an adult, you should put away childish things and pick up a PC. The argument that you cannot play co-op on a PC in the living room is incorrect. You can absolutely hook up a PC to your television And I am on the site Co-Optimus, and I just search for couch co-op games. I see at least 574 games that are for PC currently for couch co-op that you can hook up your PC to a TV and play with the whole family. Aside from that, for solo gaming on your own on a PC, the keyboard and mouse are ultimately more precise when playing first-person shooters. You have much more variety of games. The fact that a game is only on console now is only a matter of just a few years before it's out on PC as well. Xbox games currently, as of Quantum Break, from Quantum Break on, will be available on Windows 10 and the Xbox as soon as they're released. And there is a synergy that goes along with those two. Even if you are mainly a PC gamer, you can share your screen to your PC from your Xbox and still stream games if you so desire. Trying to remember all of your points, Cassie, but we'll keep going. All right, so as for the cost aspect, yes, there is a larger initial cost for gaming on PC, but if you're buying a new console and you want to play with other people online, you have an ongoing cost that the PC does not have. You have to pay, I think, $12 a month for Xbox and $15 a month for PS4, if I'm not mistaken. And that adds up. Eventually, you will gain parity with the cost of a PC if you are participating in the multiplayer subscription that consoles require of you to play multiplayer. And eventually you will be spending much more than a PC owner. Like I said, there is a larger initial cost, but you get a lot more for your money. You get a lot more categories of games and genres of games. You can emulate all the classic PCs or classic consoles, and even classic PCs like Commodore 64. I believe that will conclude my introduction, and I will go ahead and cede the rest of my time.
Excellent. Well done. I'm glad that both of you are being so concise, because the next part of our debate is the cross debate section of our debate. And in this portion, you'll have 5 minutes of your own time to argue against your opponent's points, to ask them questions, and they will answer those questions. Anytime you ask a question, as soon as you're finished asking, your time will be stopped, and you will be able to reclaim the rest of your time as soon as they are finished answering. Please, no filibustering on the answers. Cassie, you have the floor. You have 5 minutes. You may begin.
Yes, many of us work 9 to 5. For me, as a mom of 3 children, the price point of the lovely PC is not something I can do personally. But my kids do enjoy. Yes.
Hold on, Michael. Please
Yes.
hold off until your 5 minutes have come up, and then you may ask any questions of her that you wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is her time to ask questions.
I apologize.
Not a problem.
Many of our lovely now, the other thing that is good about console is the fact that I can constantly monitor. I have small children. My children do not need to be playing games online. They do not need to be able to. And even for me, I have a hard time playing on PC, personally. I'm so used to the controller. I grew up on it. And it's a very hard thing to kick, if that makes any sense. Many of us think back to our childhood, and even with a nostalgia feel, think of consoles. Yes, maybe some people might see it childish, but think about it. Most people have kids. Most people will have kids. So having a console is a good thing. Having that ability. I don't want my 3-year-old playing on a $1,000 computer. I'd much rather him play on a console. Much safer and less problems. And it's easy for him to learn a lot of things. And with some of his issues, he suffers from what is it called? I'm trying to think of the actual name. He suffers from textural issues. So feel is very important to him. So things that don't feel right make him act up and make him aggressive. So we've found that old Nintendo games work wonderful for him. Sitting him in front of an old TV with a Nintendo game calms him down. Headphones tend to hype him up. So it's just an easier way to deal with things. Many of us. Now, as for PC, how much is a normal PC cost? How much do you spend changing the graphics card, upping the drives, and many other things? How much money is really put into your PC? And how much time do you spend cleaning it? How much time do you spend working on it? That's all time that I could spend with my children. That's all time that we could spend doing other things.
For the record, are those questions rhetorical, or would you like him to answer them?
I would like him to answer it.
All right, absolutely. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
For one, I built my PC. I had no help. If you can build Legos, you can build a PC. I've seen 4-year-olds build PCs on YouTube. How much money did I spend on my PC? I spent roughly $400 on my PC. How much time did I invest in building my PC? I would say no more than an evening. Aside from the longest part of putting my PC together was installing the operating system. As for this idea that I need to constantly upgrade my video card, that's not true. Actually, I would only need to upgrade if there's a significant improvement to video card technology. Currently, I'm running a GTX 1050, and it is more than adequate for my needs at the moment. Did you have other questions? Did I answer them sufficiently?
You did.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You have 1 minute and 10 seconds. You may reclaim your time.
All right. And those prices for most families working hard is something that we wouldn't even think to. What comes first? Keeping a roof over my kids' head, keeping food in their stomachs. So that extra $500 and $600 I don't have. I mean, I spent my consoles have always been a gift. I've never had to buy any of them. Thanking. But they are used for the entire family to this day. Yes, I will admit PC does have a lot more capability. But if you really look at the price, is it really worth it? Is it really worth to spend the amount of a car on on something like that? I mean, even I can't, and I love gaming. I admit it, I love it.
Was that rhetorical?
No, I want you to answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I put roughly $400 into my PC, which I believe at the time of building was the cost of an Xbox One console. So, I mean, if you can justify the expense of a console, then you can justify the expense of a PC. I do have a rebuttal for your other points, but in general,
let's wait until your turn.
I was going to wait for my turn.
Okay, excellent. And that turn has come up. Cassie, you have run out of time. I'm going to go ahead and give 5 minutes back on the clock to Jason. And Jason, you may begin your rebuttal and question section.
Okay. Cassie, you say that you need consoles like simple, good, not a lot of moving parts consoles for your child. I have no argument against that. They're great for children, and I mean, personally, you said you are used to a controller, and honestly, consoles have the best tactile function with controllers, but you can just plug in an Xbox One controller or a PS4 controller into a PC, and you are working right out of the box. But as for the rest of it, for the general gamer, if you want to play, if you want to have the library capability that a much more than a console could ever dream of, then I would definitely suggest having a PC. I don't actually have any questions for you because you have such a specialized case with your child that needs just a regular simplified console to calm down, and I appreciate that. But for the masses, I would definitely recommend a PC. How much time do I have left, Dolphin?
1 second. Let me check.
Oh, okay.
You actually have about 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't have the stopwatch up, but I'm going to go ahead and let Cassie respond to one thing that I think might have sounded more like a question.
Oh, that's fine. Sure. Go ahead.
Said when you said that she had a specialized case. Would you like to respond to that, Cassie?
Yes, one of my kids have a specialized case, but I also have a 6-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son that are completely and utterly normal. Oh. For them, it's easy to plug in the games and let them play.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were asking or saying
that's actually
she had a specialized case because she had children, or if she actually had a special.
She had a special needs child.
Okay.
Okay. So the other children who are normal will need computer skills to succeed in life. Not just from gaming. You can do a lot of other things with a PC. You can make videos, for instance, or you can make presentations for school. You can do a lot of things with a PC that you just cannot do with a console. PC beats console in the fact that the console is limited to either being a glorified Chrome cast or a just a game box. I believe I have a couple more minutes. Okay. Trying to think of what else I need to say here. Oh, yep, that's about it. That's all I got.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reclaim the rest of Jason's 1 minute. And at this point in the debate is when I bring up some questions and I allow Chair to bring up some questions from the audience as well as any questions he has himself. So I'm going to go ahead and start with one question for both of you, because I'd like to really get the conversation onto the topic of game selection and the cost of individual games versus piracy. Plus, the concept, and this is something that you can find on console but not PC, the concept of games that are only available on consoles versus games that are only available on PC. And with special respect to children's games such as Skylanders, the Disney interchangeable portal, all the Lego Portal games versus PC. Go ahead. We'll start with Cassie. What do you have to say about that subject matter?
Well, for the most part, most of my games are bought used. So instead of spending $20, I spend around $5 to $10. Depending. I also go to thrift stores because I shop. That's actually where a lot of the games come from. It's a lot of thrift stores. For me, it's been wonderful saving money. But we did have a PC in the house prior to this. And it ended up costing us a lot more money for the gaming on that than it has for all of my consoles. Going back, I even have an old Atari. So I'm a little bit in love.
But what about the gaming selection as far as game selection versus a PC? I mean, if you go onto PC, there's an emulator for literally every single game console system out there. The only thing they really can't replicate are things like Skylanders, like I said, and all the other pod-based games.
I mean, for the most part, they have emulators, but these games were designed for a console. They were designed. So they play a lot different than they do on a computer. It doesn't feel the same. Even and there's a lot more issues. I mean, depending on what you're using. But for me, it's just always been that, okay. And it's easy. I can put Mario or Mario Kart or any of these games for my kids. I mean, the Skylander, oh my God, don't even get me started on those things. My kids love those. And Disney has a whole bunch of games for the console. My daughter loves Brave. She plays that as much as she can. We have the Connectimals that the kids love, and it's active, and it gets them moving. So
that's a very good point. There are no PC games that get you up and moving. Jason, what do you have to say on the topic of game selection, game cost? And on your end, you have actually a second subject to talk about, which would be things like piracy and emulators and so forth and so on, but no Skylanders. So what do you have to say, buddy?
We don't have Skylanders. We do have a large selection of just about every kind of game that you would want. Piracy is not that big of a problem on PC, to be honest with you. I can look up stats for you, but piracy in places like Romania or Eastern Europe are where most of your piracy comes from. It's because the cost of a game, a brand new AAA game, usually is a month's salary for someone in that area of the world. As for my game costs per month, I pay about $12. And I buy the Humble Monthly every month, and I get about $300 worth of games every month. I have a copy of Destiny 2 I'm probably going to give away this weekend. As for emulation, as for Skylanders and all of those Portal games, yeah, you're right. You got me on that. As for the rest, can be emulated, most of these are perfected on PC. They were designed on PC to play on consoles, but bringing them back to PC, they're still good. I played through Silent Hill from the original PlayStation on PC, and it was just like I remembered it.
Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. My second question, and this one is also for both of you, and this has to do with growing up in gaming. And I'm trying to be as absolutely non-biased in these debates as I possibly can be. And I hope I haven't shown my bias tonight. But growing up in gaming, safety for children. What do you think is the safer platform, a PC or a console in that respect? Cassie, and why?
You bastard.
Console all the way. First of all, you can choose to have an internet connection on on most of the new consoles. The old consoles never even had internet. So you could control what your kids were doing and watch it. Same thing I do to this day. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom at that. So I am constantly running and I am constantly on my feet. So the idea that I don't have to really worry too much if my son's in there playing Super Nintendo is amazing. I know what I buy my children. I know what the age ranges are. I understand all that. I have a whole library of games that they play with the Kinect, and I can watch them do it. I love it. I think it's extremely safe for children to play on a console. I think there is a lot less issues that can arise if they're playing on a console than on a PC.
All right. And Michael, how do you feel about this?
Oh, well, for a console that does not connect at all to the internet, I'm sure that is the safest thing that has ever existed. However, were I some sort of kitty fiddler, I would probably be on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network trying to find children. As for a PC, you can also disconnect that from the internet and have a perfectly functioning PC to game with and do productivity or whatever you need, except for the internet. That is my full answer.
Excellent. So, good response. And now I'm going to turn over the microphone to my dear friend, Chair. Give a hand for him. He's done a great job setting up the show. Well done. Well done, Chair. Yeah. And Chair has some questions for the audience for the Chair?
Well, I don't think we really have any audience ones at this point. I do have a couple, though. I want to point out, though, I want to make a point. It's not really a question, but there was a case where some mom was driving and her kid was on the DS in the back. Or I think it was the DS, the one with the internet. It had internet capability, anyway. And
Chair, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
That was a Fox News story. I think that was a Gen Up story.
Okay. Well, we heard they heard about the story. I don't know how true it is, but the story was supposedly that some pedophile saw them and was on Nintendo DS trying to talk to them and stuff. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, or if it's just like propaganda to get people afraid of video games or what. But yeah,
I think it was that.
Yeah, probably. Okay, but the questions I do have are for Michael. um, what what would you say to those people who say that the PC is not as friendly for like the disabled gamer, considering Xbox just made like a new accessible controller for disabled folks and things like that?
Oh, I would say that that same accessible controller can be plugged directly into a PC and used exactly the same way.
I'm not sure it can at the moment.
Yeah, the drivers, it's the same drivers,
Okay.
as far as I'm aware.
Just wasn't making sure because I saw the thing and I just wasn't sure about that. And then I also wanted to ask.
I think it's based on the Xbox One Elite controller, which has paddles on the back.
Oh, okay.
And those can be switched out and changed around as per needed. That is definitely Windows 10 compatible right out of the box.
Okay, this is kind of for both people and for everyone else in the chat here. What do we think of the Oculus Rift? Is that considered a console on its own, or would it be a PC accessory?
That would be a PC accessory, but I mean both current generation consoles, I don't really consider the Wii, the Switch, to be a current generation console.
Yeah, it's a Switch.
Yeah, it doesn't have a VR accessory at the moment. Actually, neither does the Xbox, but I'm sure that's coming. But I would consider that. I would consider that a PC accessory.
Would you consider it a pro or a con to have VR, do you think?
I mean, it's a cool thing to have, but it is currently not affordable. Once it becomes more mainstreamed VR, you're gonna be tripping over them.
Okay. So Cassie, what would you say to the people who are arguing that the graphics and processing power on PCs are always like a step ahead of consoles?
That is true. But then again, you have to think about how far we've come. I mean,
Right.
In 1976, the prototype, the brown box, the original game came out, and the world was stunned. To this day.
To be fair to Cassie, she is bringing up her children to appreciate old school games, and I have to give her props for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Super Nintendo is what I grew up on too. I mean, so
I've played the Atari. I've played everything.
A Link to the Past is dope.
Okay, but I also used to play games. I had that, right? But I also had the other side where I also had like PC games. Like one of the best PC games ever is like King's Quest. And before that, it was like there's one called Impossible Mission. Okay, that was on the Commodore. And it's one of the funniest games ever. The guy dies and he'll scream all the way down and stuff. And like, so I've had both. Okay, where like I've had both experiences where, you know, I grew up Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. My mother wouldn't buy any games for it, so we had Sega and we just played Sonic over and over and over again. So I had both sides. So it's kind of hard to. I would be hard pressed to try and pick a side. So yeah. Okay, and I also want to ask. So how do we defend against the fact that you're saying how there's upfront costs with PC, but how do you defend against the fact that there's also ongoing costs, because for certain games you have to continuously upgrade your system?
You don't really. If you have a capable system as of right now that can run, let's say you have a 1060 GTX 1060 or 1050 in your computer right now, you can run most games. If you want to upgrade, you can. It is a possibility for you. I can run Witcher 3 right now on my PC with no problems. Smooth.
Yeah. I don't know. I just found personally that, you know, I can run Fallout 4. That's what
Beast, what are you talking about? You can run Fallout 4, you can run Skyrim.
On low settings, yeah.
Okay, low settings, but you can still run it. You can run Fallout 3, certainly. You can run Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
Compared to Fallout 4, those are, the previous games. If you haven't played them, they're still worth playing. There are a lot of games that are less technically needy, but are still worth playing. Like a lot of 90s adventure games are excellent fun.
Hold on a sec. My headphones messed up for a second there. So I wanted to ask Cassie one last question. They say that playing for extended periods of times can be not that healthy for kids and stuff. Do you think a kid is more likely to game for longer on a PC or a console?
To be honest, I would think a PC. Just going from personal experiences with my children's father, he tended to spend a lot more time in front of his PC, where I spent a lot less time gaming on my lovely consoles. And those hours that he would spend could have been spent spending time with his children and helping me take care of them.
Yeah. That pretty much wraps up all my questions. I mean, I don't.
Oh, can I also answer that question?
For sure.
Okay, because honestly, either way, I've lost hours and hours to both PC and console. If you're the type that is bound to get wrapped up in a game, then you're going to get wrapped up in a game and you're going to lose a lot of time to it. That would be my answer. They're both similar in time sink capacity.
Yeah.
All right. I actually do have one last follow-up question I forgot to write down, and that was about proprietary gaming. And this was to balance out my slightly biased previous question. Proprietary gaming is a major issue amongst console gamers, and this question is specifically for Cassie. Is it not just as expensive to buy 3 separate game systems as well as individual games for each of those game systems and all the added peripherals that go with those gaming systems, such as the I believe it's Xbox Motion or the
Kinect.
The Kinect. There you go. Thank you very much. And as you know, and also the Wii, the PS4, and then you're talking about multiple platforms for online use versus one computer for all your gaming needs.
Now, this is the truth. As you older consoles, you tend to get cheaper. You tend to be able to find them in even the thrift store. I got an Atari at a thrift store. A lot of the games I get are from a thrift store, and I probably did not spend as much on any of my games as that I've seen most of my friends who do PC gaming, because I do have friends who PC game in a year. I am the type of person who believes in saving as much money as you can, and I've always been that way. So I don't mind waiting a year for the hottest game system to go on sale at Black Friday. Put the tax money away. It's okay to save for that, but make sure you pay the other needs first. Your car, you know what I mean? I mean, in some ways you do spend a little bit more, but then you have actual hard copies for long periods of time. What happens if you, like what recently happened to my 12-year-old sister, is her hard drive died in her laptop computer, brand new. There's always that. There's always the reality of things can get lost.
May I
Having
respond?
a hard copy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I can actually respond from personal experience that I had in the last few weeks. I had to factory reset my computer a couple of weeks ago, and I had been playing a game of Portal before I did that, and Steam Cloud saves my game. Steam Cloud saves the games. All of your games that you own on Steam, you can just re-download as soon as you want to play them. And I was back to playing right where I left off. Even a hard drive failure, just pop in a new hard drive, pop your system on the PC. That's probably going to be the lengthiest part of getting back to where you were. But Steam does do cloud saves. That was the rebuttal I had.
Okay. Well, yes, but now let me ask you, can I ask him something?
I'll go ahead and go. Yeah, we're coming up on closing arguments, though. So.
Okay. Would you allow a 12-year-old child to be on Steam with some of the interesting people? Hey, I know the internet.
I know the internet too, and I know that there are just as many interesting people on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network.
Yes, and that's why we have a bunch of locks on those things.
Right. There are also parental locks on PC that you can put in place as well.
Okay, excellent. And let's go ahead and bring this around to the closing arguments. For the closing argument section of our debate, each of our competitors will be allowed 5 minutes to present their closing arguments. And since we've had Cassie starting first this entire debate, I'm going to have Michael start off this closing argument section. Michael, you have the floor. You may begin.
All right. Well, my main point is that in the long run, a PC is less expensive overall than a current console, such as an Xbox One or a PS4. Yes, occasionally you will run into a situation where you want to upgrade. That is entirely optional. You don't have to play the most brand new games that have come out. Lots of brand new games that come out at specs that remain stable for quite a while. I would argue that current consoles with their subscription plans and schemes are anti-consumer because they make you pay a fee every month to play online with your friends. I have no argument against classic consoles. If you like classic consoles, I got nothing for you. I like classic consoles too. They're cool. You have a much wider variety of games. If you wish to do co-op play, couch co-op, that is something you can definitely do on PC. On current consoles, it is a dying concept. Halo 3, you had couch co-op that you could play against other teams on Xbox Live. Halo 4 and Halo 5. I forget which Halo that killed that one, but that concept is dying away on console because they want people to buy their own individual consoles and have their own individual online accounts to be able to use their games. On a PC, you don't have to pay for that multiplayer gaming function. You just use it. You can be much more productive on a PC. Even if you unplug it from the internet, you can build videos, you can build presentations, you can write reports for school, you can write reports for work. You can do everything that you would do on your workstation at work on your PC, as well as play games. And you have the option and the privilege of using it for lots of other things. Steam does cloud saves. I'm not sure about GOG. You have all of these different avenues of purchasing games. You don't have to spend upwards of $50 for a game if you don't want to. You can go to G2G and purchase games for a fraction of what they are new, as well as plug in a console controller and it will work right out of the box. Time?
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, good. To sum up, you're able to do so much more with a PC than you can do with a console, and it offers you a lot of flexibility and less cost over time. And I'm going to cede the rest of my time.
Excellent. Thank you. Well done, Jane. Michael. I'm trying. Anyway, Cassie, we're going to go over and switch to you. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead and close out all of your arguments.
Console for a parent is a better choice. Console, even though, yes, it has its flaws, I will admit that. We all know that. But being able to have my kids, when it's raining outside, exercise and not have to sit still is an awesome feature that has come out in the last few consoles. And yes, I mean, I played Halo. I loved Halo growing up. And yes, I know that they're starting to try to do that. But it's us as a consumer to say what we want to see in the gaming community. I've never actually seen the co-ops done on from a PC before, so I don't really know anything about that. So I'm being honest there. But for the most part, all of us grew up on a console. So that nostalgia feeling, that remembering, that feeling that you get when you play that old Mario game, or you watch the next generation play that old Mario game, is amazing. And you just don't get that with PC. Sometimes it's a little bit more about the feelings and about what you really see. Many of us forget that as PC has always, hang on. In the 90s, PC was most people didn't have internet, so console was the better way to go. Now, there's a lot of online gaming. But for me and for my family and for most of my friends, it is just better to go console. I have friends that are PC that love PC, but they're also retro gamers. And so they love the nostalgia feel. And I'm going to concede.
I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you meant to cede the rest of your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because that $30 is looking good if you're conceding.
That other word that you used meant to give up the debate.
No, I'm just like, I haven't debated since high school. So this is very nerve-wracking to me.
Oh, you're doing just fine. I'm going to go ahead and take this moment to let you know that our scoring is done by Placeholder Films, who is currently probably tabulating the final results, and I'm going to take the rest of the time to give him to do that by reminding you guys that you can check out the Academy Debate Show's moderated debate every single Friday night at 8 Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We come out and try and have a lot of good socio-political debates. Tonight we had more of a fun one, and screw Andy Warski for taking our subject and making us change at the last moment. That being said, also feel free to join us on Wednesday night for the Braintrust, a brainstorming session where we talk about the latest geopolitical, sociopolitical, and just brainstorming ideas that we come up with on a week-by-week basis, as well as a large list that we compiled 2 days ago. Feel free to check out that stream on the channel. Anyway, Placeholder, are we ready?
I think it's busy is having problems right now. I told him that he could just tell me in the DMs if we want or whatever. But hang on, it's in the side. It's in the side now. Okay.
So, thankfully everything's stabilized, and I hate to cut in this way.
Good. Perfect.
So Mikey won. Simply because he had better arguments. There's a whole line of argumentation I wish you both had touched on, which is like hardware. When you talk about the actual like stuff, PC wins. But in terms of the arguments presented, PC still had the better arguments simply due to the catalog of games, capabilities of the PC, as well as having better parental controls than consoles too.
Awesome.
All right. So Cassie got no points for Skylanders.
Well, she didn't get no points.
The final score, by the way.
GG.
Final score, by the way, was Mikey got 120 points. Cassie got 80 points. Mikey wins, and thank you both for participating in our debates. We hope to see everybody back next Friday. In the meantime, Cassie, why don't you tell us? I'm sorry, Michael. Why don't you tell us? You have no idea.
Ruse ever?
No idea how hard it is to do the names tonight. You son of a Michael.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us how you're going to spend your $30?
I'm going to buy Jawbreakers from Diversity in Comics. I'm going to support a YouTuber and a comic skater and get myself some comic books.
Oh, don't you mean that you're buying that comic book for Jason?
Yeah, I'm going to buy it for Jason. Well, I'm going to buy it for me, but I'm going to let him read it.
You two are very, very absurdly close.
Yes.
And that being said, that concludes our show for tonight. Be sure to check us out every Friday night at 8 p.m., 9 Eastern, and the Braintrust every Wednesday night at 10 p.m., 11 Eastern. Good night and good luck.